Good day to all of you, and God bless you too. My name is Dr. Alex British Chinedu Tasie from Ishopo Ancient Kingdom, which is in Ikwerre local government area of Rivers State of Nigeria, West Africa. I am a writer, a musician, a filmmaker, a football coach, a historian. I like using the article A, and also a multi-dimensional thinker. I am a proud, self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of the Nigerian semi-educated people, the people in Nigeria that you say and think are not well-educated people, are not highly educated people. I am a proud, self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of those people in Nigeria. My uncle, Professor G.O.M. Tasie, a highly respected academic in Nigeria, an erudite scholar of high repute in Nigeria and beyond, calls me a scholar. And indeed, I am a scholar and also a great historian from Ikwerre land, who is sufficiently informed about the background history of Ikwerre people. In the year of 2008, I published a history book about the people of Ikwerre land entitled Ikwerre Land, History, Culture, and People, and the foreword by an erudite scholar in Nigeria, a highly respected academic in Nigeria, and one of the foremost educationists in Nigeria, in the person of Professor Otonti Ndoka Amade from Rumeme Kingdom, who was at some point a former President General of Obako Ikwerre Cultural Organization worldwide. And the comment about the book in a form of review by one respected legal luminary in Rivers State, in the person of Chief Barrister Lucky C. Weje JP from Igbo community, who was at some point a former president of Ikwerre Development Association, IDA. In the year of 2010, I published another history book about the people of Ikwerre land, entitled Ikwerre Land, Milestones in Civilization and Development, and the foreword by another erudite scholar, a highly respected and regarded academic in Nigeria, in the person of His Royal Highness Eze Professor Samuel N. Weke JP, who is currently the paramount ruler of Igbo community in Ikwerre land. In the year of 2010, one of Ikwerre's greatest academics and a highly respected Anglican clergy in the person of the late Professor Wotogbe Nweneka from Omagwa community, introduced two of my history books in his department called the Department of Religious Studies in the University of Port Harcourt as learning books, as lecture books. And from the year of 2010 to about the year of 2019, hundreds and thousands of my books, copies of those my history books were used by students in that department and other related departments as learning books, as lecture books. In the year of 2015, I published another history book, this time about the African continent, entitled Africa, a Subzone of the West. The book essentially mirrors and studies the reasons for Africa's underdevelopment and profiles the Elysias, the panaceas, the solutions to help Africa research and come back as a great continent. To have ample insights and information about the African people and the peoples of other parts of the world, I traveled to some countries in Africa and to some countries outside Africa, so as to have a physical as well as a chromatic analysis of the African people and other peoples of the world. Before you begin to heap blames upon blames on the shoulders of the West as reasons for Africa's decay and decrepitude, before you begin to blame the white people that we commonly call the West as the people who caused the social, political, and economic defects, woes, troubles, as we see them in Africa, it is advisable that you find the book Africa, a Subzone of the West, so as to know correctly and actually the culprits that bring ignominy, shame, ridicule, insult to the African people. And the foreword of the book was written by Dr. Richard Sanders from Great Britain. In the year of 2021, I published another history book, this time about my own community in Ikwerre land called Ikwerre Ancient Kingdom. And the book is entitled The History of Ishekpo Kingdom. And the forward by another highly respected academic from Ikwerre land in the name of Professor Amadioha from Elele Alimini. In the year of 2014, I was nominated into one of the committees of Ogbako Ikwerre Cultural Organization worldwide at the national level in a full house at Ikwerre, the premise of Ogbako Ikwerre Cultural Organization worldwide, where the likes of the late Captain Elechi Amadi, Professor Simeon Cheto Achinewu, Professor Otonti Ndoka, Chief Gideon Omodo, and so many others were present. I was nominated into a committee of the body called the Committee of Information and Communication. And my chairman at that time was Mr. Augustine Wakajile, I think so. And that was during the regime of Professor Augustine M. Onyonso from Elele Alimini, who was at that time the President General of Ogbako Ikwerre Cultural Organization worldwide. So far, my history books are some of the most circulated, if not the most circulated history books in Ikwerre land, and authored by any Ikwerre writer and historian. When you go to the Enugu National Archives in Enugu State, you will find some of my history books in their shelves. When you go to Accra National Archives in the Republic of Ghana, you will find some of my history books in their shelves. What I have here to talk about is the wave of Igbo migrations into Ikwerre land, or the waves of Igbo migration into Ikwerre land. Anyone you want to take? This essentially explains when Igbo people came into Ikwerre land, the period in history when the people, Ikwerre people called Isoma people, Igbo people, made their ways into Ikwerre land and settled. That is the emphasis of this topic. Ikwerre land is one of the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. It is a gazetted, recognized ethnic nationality by the federal government of Nigeria. Ikwerre means the language, people, environment of the people called Ikwerre people in Nigeria, as well as their culture. Ikwerre people constitute about 4 known local government areas in River State of Nigeria, namely Ikwerre, Obiakpo, Port Harcourt City, and Emo. Ikwerre land is, uh, an economic hub in Nigeria. In fact, it is the center of hydrocarbon activities in Nigeria. Ikwerre land is like the carrier of River State because much of the area known as the capital of River State is located in Ikwerre land. Is Ikwerre land. Ikwerre land is, one of the most recognized and most visited areas in Nigeria. In fact, it is the third most recognized, most important, most visited, area in Nigeria, where you have Abuja, Lagos, and the next is Ikwerre land. Ikwerre people are found mostly in River State of Nigeria. And some Ikwerre people are also found outside the shores of River State, like the Ohaji Mwishin, the Agwa people, and one conspicuous community in Imo State called Ishoko Autonomous Community in Akporo, Idato, Obodogu in Imo State. In some other areas like Awaza in Abia State, Ikwerre people are also found there. You hear commonly some Igbo people say Ikwerre land is Igbo land. Ikwerre land is an Igbo territory. Some others say Ikwerre people are Igbo people. Some others say Ikwerre people migrated from Igbo land and settled at the place we find them today in Nigeria. Many Igbo people say that Ikwerre land is an Igbo territory. And one pertinent question that will sufficiently help us to treat this matter and treat it well is this: who really from Igbo land founded Ikwerre land? Which person from what you call Igbo land founded Ikwerre land, discovered Ikwerre land, and gifted it to Ikwerre people to possess? Which person from Igbo land came to this part of the world, disvirgin it, deforested the area, opened it, founded it, established it, and handed it to Ikwerre people to possess? Which Igbo person came to this part of Nigeria, cleared the area, deforested the area, founded the area, and gave it to Ikwerre people to own, to possess, and to live? Since Ikwerre land is Igbo territory. Since Ikwerre land is an Igbo territory, which Igbo person came to this area, founded the area, and gave it to Ikwerre people to possess? Was the person that is called Igbo the supposed founder of Igbo people, or was he the person called Nri, another supposed founder of the Igbo ethnic nation, that came to this part of the world called Ikwerre land, divided it, cleared it, founded it, and gave it to Ikwerre people. You will hear some other Igbo people say Ikwerre people are Igbo people because they bear Igbo names. They also have some similarities in culture with Igbo people. And Ikwerre people vehemently reject that, oppose that. Instead, say that the language they speak, the names and titles they bear, their cultural practices are all called Ikwerre. And with all these, they registered Ikwerre as an autonomous ethnic nation in Nigeria. They reject vehemently, seriously, and also generally that they are not Igbo people. You hear some other Igbo people say Ikwerre people migrated from Igbo land and settled at the place we find them today. And another, important question that will help to elucidate and illuminate this issue is this. Which part of Igbo land can Ikwerre people say today that they migrated out from? Where in Igbo land did Ikwerre people migrate from, come from, pull out from, and settled at the place they are found today? Which area in Igbo land can Ikwerre people verify as the place of their first birth, as the place of their origin, their root before they migrated out? In the 1950s, some Ikwerre people, like the late Chief Onya from Apoland, the late Chief Onwuchekwa from Elelemu, and some others, instituted a case against the Igbo, claiming that Ikwerre people of Imo State today migrated out from Ikwerre land and settled at the place they are found today. In the 1950s, some notable Ikwerre sons instituted a case against the Igbo, claiming that Ikwerre people pulled out from Ikwerre land and moved to the area we find them today in Nigeria. So where in Igbo land did Ikwerre people migrate from? Is it in Imo State, Abia State, Anambra State, Enugu State, or Ebonyi State that Ikwerre people pulled out from? As a research and investigative historian, I am aware that the migration of a people and the origin of the people are all connected. Before someone will undertake a journey from a particular case, from a particular place, for any reason, that person must have an origin, must have a beginning, must have a root. So where in Igbo land did the founder or founders of Ikwerre land pull out from, migrate from, and settle at the place they are found today? Generally, some Igbo people say that Igbo means Ndibo, people of the ancient time. And you ask, since it is Ndi, a matter of plural, and not Onye, then who founded Igbo, founded Ikwerre land? Since there was no single person who was identified as the founder of the entire Igbo, Which person came from Igbo and founded Ikwerre land and gave it to Ikwerre people to possess? And where in Igbo land did Ikwerre people migrate from and settled at the place they are found today? Ikwerre people for many years have been attempting to see they can find a link to any place in Igbo land where they can say their ancestors or their ancestor migrated out from, moved out from in Igbo land, and all to no avail. What this study emphatically wants to achieve is to state that Ikwerre people are actually the owners of their land called Ikwerre land. Before the turn of the 18th century, in the 1700s, there was no presence of anybody or presence of any group of people Ikwerre people call Isoma people, Igbo people in Ikwerre land. There was no presence of anybody called Igbo that lived with Ikwerre people in the 18th century. In the periods of the 19th century, some periods, way after the middle of the 19th century, and precisely in the periods of the 1860s, Ikwerre people saw the Igbo for the first time in their land. In the periods of the 1860s, slave trade activity was still in vogue, although some European nations were fighting very hard to stop it, but it continued by some, slave merchants. In the 1860s, the Europeans came into Ikwerre land en route to Igbo in their hinterland. When they came with the people called the Arochukwu people as raiders, slave scouts, and interpreters. And so, the Arochukwu people of Igbo land are the first set of Igbo elements that came into Ikwerre land in the 19th century. When they came, Ikwerre people received them with open hand and with open heart. Ikwerre people gave them free bushes to hunt and to farm, allow them their waterways to kill fish, allow them access to participate in the economic activities in Ikwerre land, gave them free houses to live in. Ikwerre people gave them their hospitality and received them with cordial, minds and all that. Ikwerre people gave them their magnanimity and their generosity, and they lived with the Ikwerre people convivially and cordially. The next set of Igbo people that came into Ikwerre land, I like using into, that means enter, are called the Mbano people. the Mbano people came into Ikwerre land during the early 20th century, the 1910s, 1920s. Mbano people mainly came during the construction work in Port Harcourt City. In the years of 1912-1913, the city of Port Harcourt was acquired from the Rebisi people, who are the original owners, by the Europeans, principally Lewis Harcourt as an administrator and Sir Lord Lugard as the Governor General then of Nigeria, for the main purpose of connecting the hinterland to the outside world. Another purpose of acquiring Port Harcourt was to make it a mega city in Nigeria. And so the Europeans began big projects in Port Harcourt City, like the construction of railway and the construction of harbor and the wharf. Because of the magnitude of work at that time, the construction work in Port Harcourt City, a large workforce was needed. And so the Igbo, particularly the Mbano people from the Igbo hinterland, were brought into the city of Port Harcourt to be part of the construction work at that time. They came and they settled. After the people of Mbano came the people of Ikwerre. The Ikwerre people came into Ikwerre land in the 1940s. They came to participate in the economic activities available in Port Harcourt City at that time, and they settled. After the people of Ikwerre, the late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe of blessed memory encouraged and charged many people from Anambra State to head into Port Harcourt City for economic prospects. And so they came and they settled. In the 1980s, majorly, another group of Igbo people, this time the people called Wawa, in what we have today, Ebonyi and Enugu states, thronged and drove into Port Harcourt City. When they came initially into Ikwerre land, they came to farm with their big hoes. Big chiefs hired them to work in their farms. I remember in those days, in my community, they were provided large areas where they stayed, their men and their women to farm. And so, when they all came and settled as Igbo people, Ikwerre people generally received them with open hands and with open hearts. Ikwerre people showed them their hospitality, gave them generosity, and provided them magnanimity. Allow them access to participate in the economic activities in Ikwerre land. They were not hindered, stultified, Nkumba Limited impeded from participating in the economic activities in Ikwerre land. What this sufficiently and essentially means is that Igbo people, the people called Isoma, strangers, came into Ikwerre land at various times in human history. And they also came for different purposes. While some came much earlier, others came later. And today in Ikwerre land, they have a very huge population. Ikwerre people generally, in the beginning, lived with them convivially and cordially, peacefully, until something happened in the 1950s. Of this topic is not, part of that issue. So, the people called Isoma people are strangers in Ikwerre land. They are not co-owners of Ikwerre land. By this assessment, it is quite clear that there was no person from Igbo land who cleared the land called Ikwerre land, who founded it and gave it to Ikwerre people to possess. It is also clear that from the beginning of time that Ikwerre people have been inhabiting the area called Ikwerre land all alone until visitors from Igbo land entered into Ikwerre land. Today in Nigeria, the Arochukwu people are in a place called Abia State as their homeland. The people of Mbano are in a place in Imo State as their homeland. The Anambra people also are found in Anambra State as their homeland. The Wawa people of Ebonyi and Enugu states are found in these two states as their areas. And so it qualitatively and quantitatively means mean that Ikwerre people are the sole owners of the area called Ikwerre land in Nigeria. Ikwerre people assert that they are not Igbo people. Igbo people say Ikwerre people are Igbo people because of the language they speak, because of their cultural practices, and because of some other reasons that they note out. And Ikwerre people say it clearly, without any ambiguity, that they are Ikwerre because the language they speak, the names and titles that they bear, the cultural practices in Ikwerre land are all called Ikwerre. And with that, they registered Ikwerre land as one of the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. Before you become registered or accepted as an ethnic nationality in Nigeria, you must have a name, a place, and a language, also culture. So people say all that is their own original. That other people simulated, all that from them and took to their areas. Ikwerre people ultimately own the land called Ikwerre from the beginning of time. Although a majority of them agree that they migrated from Benin with their brothers and sisters like the Oba, the Beye, the Oguta, the Agwa, the Onitsha, Anyoma, Anyocha, Kwale, Abo, Eka, and so many others. So they see themselves as people who belong to one ancestry, who come from the same environment. Whatever that has altered the language, where they speak a different language, from the place they migrated out from, is something that is mystified. It's just like someone asking how a dialect is formed out from a language. People who say that they are one with one language, taken from their ancestors. Why then do we have dialects? To the extent that some people cannot hear others in the same language. So these things are the mysteries of life, and only God can explain. But the postulation of Ikwerre people is that they migrated from Benin as well as other places too. Who also claim that they came from Benin. So these are the waves of Igbo migration into Ikwerre land. The periods when Igbo people entered into Ikwerre land and settled. That is all what this topic aims to achieve. And I say thank you for having time to watch and listen. My name once again is Dr. Alex British Chinedu Tasie, with the phone number +234 806 369 3609. That's my call and WhatsApp number. Message and make out. Dear, thank you and God bless you. Amen.